Hello, BookTube. I am back. Do you know what? I kind of post as much as I did about a month and a half ago. In my work, when it comes to June, July, and August, the summer months, it just gets ridiculously busy, horrendously busy. It gives me grey hair. It's horrible. Whereas in the winter, it's dead. So it's a kind of tale of two cities, my job. So it's an absolute pain, to get back from work and record myself for the internet. So I'm gonna make a what I read. What month is it? What I read is that July? Yes, what I read in July. My head's potatoed. It's all mashed. Yeah, so I read 11 books in July. To be honest, July was not a good reader month for me. A, because I was busy. I don't want to blame work completely because I did go on some jolly nights out as well. So, and I'm not going to read when I've got the booze blues the next day. So, and a lot of books I read in July. Oh, a lot of the books I read in July were quite average to poor. So it's motivating yourself when you're tired and you've been reading through some terrible books to pick up another book. So that's only the reason I've only read 11. 11. So I've got them on my, that's why I'm looking down. I've got them on my burner phone. And so let's get through them, mate. Trying to make a quick video here. Nice cup of Earl Grey. I don't know why I bought Earl Grey for. I like the cheapest of the tat, really. Earl Grey is a bit too petly for me. It tastes like potpourri. I don't like it. Lavender. So here we go. I usually start with my rereads. The first reread I did was I've been on a bit of a Bill Bryson kick recently. I've been rereading his books for the past few months, and I probably will into the future as well until I've reread all of them, basically. But this one, At Home, is probably one of my least favourites, alongside what was the most recent Bill Bryson book? Was it the health one? I can't remember the book title, but it was about the human body. Or could have been called The Body, I can't remember. Although that sounds quite macabre, doesn't it? So this one, At Home, is basically giving you a private history of all the rooms in your house. So it'd be a history of the kitchen, the attic space, the basement, the lounge. And I'll mix it in with like when TVs came fashionable, when beds came fashionable and all sorts of things like that. It just doesn't work for me. At Home, it's a lot of hit and miss, and a lot of it's kind of strenuous of why he's talking about this when he's talking about rooms in the house. I find the typical it's typical Bill Bryson-esque. You get the sarky comments and the humour in there, which I always appreciate that. So that's At Home. It's probably one of my least favourite Bill Brysons. My second reread, the complete opposite to that, is my favourite novel of all time. People probably know what it is if you've watched my videos. This is The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. I absolutely love this novel. Come on. I love all of Alexander Dumas, to be honest. I like The Three Musketeers, The Man in the Iron Mask, a book about revenge, a guy that's is done wrong on his wedding night and gets sent to prison, and all of a sudden he makes friends with this Abby who's got stashes a secret of millions and millions and millions of pounds sterling or whatever currency it is, I can't remember, and he gets his revenge kick on. Oh, who doesn't like that? And he's successful at the end. I love The Count of Monte Cristo. I think I might make a separate video just for the Count of Monte Cristo in itself, because I do absolutely love The Count of Monte Cristo. I know quite a lot of people are put off reading because it's so big. It's about 1,200 pages, but I don't think I should even just take 300 pages a month, read it over the course of a year, because it's a worth a read. I do absolutely adore The Count of Monte Cristo. I had a brain fart then. So they were the two rereads that I did last month. So I did 9 new ones. Oh, sorry, I'm quite thirsty. I've been talking on the microphone. Oh, I hate those microphone things. Oh, I hate it. And I'm being on a phone, a Teams meeting for 2.5 hours. Oh. Look at me moaning. So yeah, I did 9 newies. So top one, I read Aftermath. This is Life in the Fallout of the Third Reich by, I didn't put the author's name down. How typical of me. I think it's Harold or Harrod Jana or something like that. Jana. This book is about what happened, how did Germany rebuild after the Second World War. What was happening within Germany. Obviously, they had the huge American influence after the Second World War, and they also had the Soviet influence from the East. Also, it talks about dance and how emigration from Germany also worked with, and how it kind of reconciled with its past, with the Holocaust and stuff like that. I've read a few books like this, and unfortunately this one just missed the mark completely. And I guess the main reason is because it read like a an undergraduate's final paper. They read essayish, and I was like, oh, come on, this is so dull. Come on, throw a bit of salt and pepper in there, a bit of condiments, give me something. And it was so disappointing. So that was the first one which I was massively disappointed by. The next one is, we're going to go to the nerd corner now. Going to go through some trash. We'll skip ahead if you don't like Star Wars. This is my continuation of the New Jedi Order series. This is Traitor by Matthew Stover and Destiny's Way by Walter John Williams. I believe this is books 13 and 14 from the New Jedi Order series. I think I'm going to make my own separate video of my thoughts on the entire series when I've finished it, because it's been meh to poor, and this series is absolutely loaded, and I have no idea why. The writing in some of these books are terrible, awful, woeful. And one of the main characters throughout the series is a character called Jacen Solo, which is Han and Leia's son. He's my least favourite character in this series. And the first book here, Traitor, is entirely about Jacen Solo. Okay, it's his story of how he's working now with the Yuuzhan Vong, who are invading the galaxy far, far away. And the Yuuzhan Vong think Jacen is working now with them, but there's a swerve towards the end. He isn't. And weirdly, I actually quite enjoyed it. I think Traitor's probably up there with one of my favourite New Jedi Order series books out there now, and with my least favourite character. And the next one is Destiny's Way, where Jacen rejoins the galaxy. He goes to see his mum and dad and Luke again, and it's to try to get, okay, we've got a battle plan and how we're going to beat the Yuuzhan Vong. So this is it's not called the Rebellion anymore. The New Republic are now got the ducks in a row, and they know how they're going to combat this Yuuzhan Vong, and that's what Destiny's Way is about. Typical New Jedi Order book, meh at best. This series is a bit of disappointment. I'm going to look forward to doing the final evaluation, a look back, a hindsight look of all 19 books. I mean, it's written by tons of different authors as well, with different abilities and different writing styles, and it doesn't flow nicely from one book to the next, I don't find. And some of the writing, as I said, is awful. And that's the new Jedi Order series. So what's next? What is next? Oh, this is a non-fiction book that I enjoyed, A Work of History. This is by Bart van Loo. This is The Burgundians, A Vanished Empire. This is a fantastic little work of European history, this. So the Burgundian Empire was basically modern day Netherlands, Belgium, and a corridor between France and Germany. And had a bit of the French territory and a bit of German territory, so kind of snaked down. And it's a really, really well written, well loved by the author, fantastically researched, really, really good European history, this. And if you like the reading about how empires form and then utterly collapse through, through traitors, through crazy people, through corruption, this is your book for you. This is a really, really well done piece of history, and that's The Burgundians by Bart van Loo. Okay, next one. This is a buddy read that my brother chose. He's gone on a bit of a debut fiction kick, and this is Bellies by Nicola Dinan. This is it's a gay romance, but it was utterly and completely devoid of any entertainment. It was utterly boring. Characters just did things. There's no real explanation why they did things. What's this person's motivation? It was, they did this, and they did that. They did this, they did that. So this is probably the worst book that I read this month. It was pretty bad, and my brother hated it as well. And my brother's more nice to debut fiction, and my brother's very much a contemporary fiction reader, whereas I'm not. But we both hated Bellies. So the next one is where am I? Oh, okay. I read The Hunger Games a few years ago, and I thought they were pretty middling, to be honest with you. I didn't think they were great. Don't mind the movies. So I was kind of like, when my brother dropped this book off. This is Sunrise on the Reaping by Susan Collins. So this is a prequel to the Hunger Games. It's about how Haymitch won the Hunger Games. I think it was like the 25th year they were doing it, and it's good. I really enjoyed it. I think it's by far superior to the Hunger Games. And okay, you might know what it's going to happen in this story, but don't let that put you off. It's still, you'll feel sorry for the characters who are in this, because she really found a feat writing style, in this book, and it really does show, and it's a really good fiction, YA fiction, at Sunrise on the Reaping by Susan Collins. Next one. What is next? Okay, let's go with. I love reading The Baillie Gifford. The Baillie Gifford is a non-fiction prize. It comes out towards October-ish. It's usually about 12, 13 books. And I read the entire long list before the short list gets announced. I probably love it. And the reason why I picked this book is because, I'm sorry, I'm slurping every 5 minutes, am I? But my voice is proper croaky. But hey-ho, whatever. Lemon. And the reason why I picked this was because it got shortlisted by the Baillie Gifford. And this is Liberty's Exiles, The Loss of America and the Remaking of the British Empire by Maya Jasanoff. I was bitterly disappointed by this. This was a slog to get through, and I think it was made worse by the fact that I had a series of books I read and didn't like. So getting to the third or fourth one, I'm going, oh, I'm not enjoying this at all. It's way boring. It's dry. Do you know what I was saying? In Aftermath, it read like a undergraduate's paper. You know, where it's yeah, okay, I know what you're going for here, but I wish there was something more, you know, something sexy to catch me. You know, but in Liberty's Exiles, it was professorial, and I even explained to her what it's about. So this is how the Royalists coped after the Americans beat the British in the War of Independence. So the Royalists spread about the world. You know, some of them went to Canada, some of them went to the Caribbean, or the Caribbean. I'm not too sure. I think it's Caribbean. I think is it one of those tomato things. So some of them went to the Caribbean, like the Bahamas, India, and some of them settled in England too. And eventually some of them went back to the homeland, back to the US. But I was so disappointed. This seems right up my street. It really does. But it massively failed for me. I thought it was unbelievably boring. And oh, shaky. Oh, yeah. This is a really disappointing read for me, and I couldn't wait to get rid. You know, but luckily I never paid for it because it came from the library, thanks to again my brother. So how many have I done now? I've done that one. I've done that one. So the next one is Dawn of Wonder by Jonathan Renshaw. I used to be a out and out fantasy reader back in the day. That's all I pretty much read, and I got fed up with it towards the end because it was just all the same tropey, cliche rubbish, you know, of fantasies. You know, I had enough basically. So I haven't read a new fantasy for a while, new to me. But this was actually quite good. I mean, it does nothing, you know, nothing different. This is still, you know, the unknown boy leaves hometown, joins a military school, finds out that he's really good in the military school, and then gets sent off on a mission. Whereas there's plots going on in the background involving his father and some people who are behind the throne, you know, who are trying to, pardon me, falling apart here, who are trying to backstab them all when they're going for the adventure. But this is a well done little it's not little, I don't know why I said that, it's quite chunky, about the same size as By the World and The Wheel of Time. It's a fantastic bit of fantasy. This, I thought it was really well done, even though it does nothing new. I thought it was immensely readable. So a great little work of fantasy for those of you who are interested in fantastical. And the last one we are getting at today. Do you know what? When I started this video, I was like, Alex, you can do this. You can do this in 12 minutes. We're clocking on to 19 now. I am so crap at timekeeping. Mostly because I just go off on little tangents like I'm doing now, but what heads? Peppermint. So the last one is a work of non-fiction. This is The Great Anglo-Boer War by Byron Farwell. I think I didn't write the author's name down. So this is about when the Boers trying to get independence from the British Empire, and you know there was a massive war, you know, in the late 20th century. So we're looking at, you know, 1895-ish to pre-First World War, when we were down there fighting the Boers. And it goes through how the British Empire went down there, you know, got pretty much the butts kicked now in every, you know, turn. And then the Boers turn it into a guerrilla war, and then eventually, you know, messing up themselves, where the British pretty much came out on top. As you can tell probably by the tone of my voice, this is a novel work of non-fiction. I thought it was slightly not as disappointing as the last that I was just saying before. I mean, I've never read a book about the the Boer Wars. But I found that the author focused on stuff that sometimes didn't really matter in the larger picture of things. I wish he was just more, he had a clear focus on what story he was trying to tell. And I mean, don't let this. It is still a good. It's not dry or boring or anything like that. It's fairly well done, but I think it just, for me, it missed the mark for me. Let's just say that. And that is the end. And my throat made it. I'm surprised it did, but I absolutely failed at the 12-minute mark. I will probably make another video tomorrow. I said last month was a pretty poor month for me, but not this month. I felt I'm in a proper reading kick at the moment. I'm reading a lot of mystery at the moment, and I'm getting through this Bruce Lee biography too, because I love Bruce Lee. As a kid, I used to love those campy 70s kung fu movies. You really fly through the air, and the guy flies through a window. I used to love all that stuff when I was a kid. So yeah, I'm loving this Bruce Lee biography at the moment, and I'm also taking part of Garb August as well. So I need to pick up some pretty trashy books. And I'm waffling. I'm nearly 10 minutes over my allotted time. So yeah, I probably might make a video tomorrow, and I'll see you soon. Bye, BookTube.